Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Goddamn Gamecube. Greg and Riley are your hosts today, and I wanted this to be a fun day. I wanted this to be a day of celebration. We have not had an original Silent Hill game in 12 years, and unfortunately, this episode is going to be brutal. We're talking about Silent Hill F today. Silent Hill F is a 2025 survival horror game developed by Neobards Entertainment and published by Konami. Unlike previous entries, it is not connected to the overarching story, and it is set outside of Silent Hill. Instead, Silent Hill F is set during the 1960s in a fictional Japanese town, so it takes place in Ebisugaoka. It follows high school student Hinako Shimizu as she and her friends try to escape the town after it is consumed by fog and monsters. Oh boy. Riley, you have any opening thoughts before we get into general gameplay and performance? Because, this having an original Silent Hill game after 12 years, it's actually a pretty monumental release.
Yeah, I think that generally speaking, like, I was welcome to the change of setting and time period. And just trying something new, like they try a couple new mechanics and stuff like that. And I want to be clear that I'm open to experimenting, but I have some notes about the execution.
Yeah. So we're gonna get into it. I think this is gonna be one of those episodes where we're gonna have some grievances, we're gonna have some compliments, and it's gonna be heavy on the grievances. So let's get into general gameplay performance. And Riley, you want to start?
Yeah, just really quick about the movement. The big thing that bothered me about the moment to moment here is that when you stop moving, she just like jerks to a halt. Did you experience this?
I experienced this more when you're trying to like sprint and then do something else and then get back to it. It's very herky-jerky.
Because I remembered, I felt, this might just be my memory going, but I remembered in Silent Hill 2, the remake, that he would just kind of naturally stop jogging and slow down to a halt. It's like instantaneous, and it was just like, it just felt weird for a lot of this game. I'm also like never a big fan of like the Crash Bandicoot running away segments. I think there are a couple situations in Silent Hill Downpour that played like this. Do you remember this?
It really did remind me of Downpour, very like early 2010s schlocky cinematic kind of running sequences. Like it's a thumbs down from me. You want to move on to some combat stuff, which is probably the biggest sin of this game, and it's kind of agreed upon pretty universally, even people who like this game.
Yeah, I want to start out with saying that people have called the combat Souls-like, which I definitely see the basis of, but I think it's like insulting to Dark Souls. I think to me it played more like I think a closer comparison would be like Hellblade, but with a stamina bar. It's very simple.
Yeah, I understand what people are saying. Like I have been calling it Silent Hill Souls as well. I also think it's a very bad Silent Hill Souls. To my combat experience was, I'm essentially backing up or walking forward and baiting an enemy into me swinging at them. And it just kind of sucks, like, for the entire experience. I honestly felt like, dude, like, enemies are just walking into my attack, and that's what I was baiting them to do the entire game.
No, I just think it's really clunky, and I don't think it's in an acceptable state, given how much emphasis is placed on the combat. Like, there's more combat than puzzles, I would say, in this game.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's certainly a combat-focused game.
Yeah, I don't really get it, because I thought the combat in the Silent Hill 2 remake was fine. It was very simple and effective, and it was just like really crunchy and brutal, and it just feels not great in this game for a variety of reasons. I think for the bosses especially, that they needed like a health bar or some kind of like indication that your attacks are affecting them at all. Like occasionally you'll visibly like stagger them when you do like the counter move or you use a focus attack. But for the most part, they're just like damage sponges. Like they don't seem to be reacting correctly.
Sure. Like, I actually thought bosses were one of the only like enjoyable combat segments. It's possible that we differ on this. I also think that most of them are fought with unbreakable weapons, so you can finally just rip a little. Like, to be honest, like if they had health bars, I think my grade for this game is going to get even lower. But like, I don't know. We're certainly thumbs down on the combat. But Riley, you have more on enemy design here?
Yeah, I don't think the enemy design helps the combat experience either. I think it very quickly wears out its welcome, and then the last couple hours are just like this nonstop gauntlet. I don't understand like why so many developers like fall into this trap. Like, did they playtest this? Like, it's just like it's such an iffy choice even when the combat is good. Like, we're just gonna keep throwing like every enemy in the game at you over and over for the last 2 hours. Like, I think God of War 2 did the same thing. Like, I just fucking hate that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I understand. It's like, not only is like, you know, the combat in this game not enjoyable throughout, it becomes very combat focused, especially, you know, in the latter sections, really for the entirety.
Yeah, nonstop. For the sanity meter, which is another mechanic, which we have not seen since Eternal Darkness. I think my sanity meter only ran out once, like in the beginning. Like, I didn't prioritize upgrading it or refilling it or anything. Like, my real life sanity meter ran out a lot more than my in-game sanity meter.
You know, I agree. I did not upgrade it a single time. My thoughts on this combat here, dude, I eventually got quote unquote good at the combat, or quote unquote good at this game, which is to say I used a focus attack every time I healed it with some kind of healing item, and I just kept doing it. And on bosses, I used the unlimited stamina item, and I just did the same fucking thing. I did not counterattack. I didn't perfect dodge. I just used focus and just let enemies walk into my swings. I'll say this too. There's also, from what I can tell, there's no indication which weapons are better than others. Like, for some reason, kitchen knives are incredible. Like, sure, like big, slow weapons can be assumed to be more powerful, but this is also frustrating. Like, a wooden bat is better than a steel pipe, and I don't understand how. And there's no indication of what is better. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that, or did you not care?
No, I just laughed when I picked it up because it got me thinking about Andy Sekiro.
Yeah,
I think there's something.
I wish we had
in
Andy
Japan.
in this one.
Yeah, for sure. Could have used his help. It's just that, you know, baseball is big in Japan. I think they got that baseball magic working for them. I played the opposite way of you, where I did a lot more countering and perfect dodges. I thought it was really boring.
Yeah, it is really boring. I'll say this too. This is a big Greg no-no, which fans are going to know. The last thing, I've tried not to use the word hate on this show, but I will briefly right now. I hated this, which is there's nothing you can do when you're grabbed by an enemy except wait for the cinematic to end. The game even has a tooltip where it tells you there's nothing you can do. And dude, that it drove me crazy. Like, that's not a mechanic. That's not engaging. It's just irritating. You're essentially giving me a tooltip saying, hey, when this happens, it is not gameplay, which bothered the fuck out of me, dude. I don't know. I just think all these horror games are doing this, where pushing zombies off is not a mechanic anymore. You getting grabbed and eviscerated is not gameplay anymore. I don't know, man. If you have anything on that, if not, we can move on.
No, I did not like that either. I thought it was really funny that it told you there's nothing you can do about it. That had to be like a playtesting note, right? Like, some people just kept trying to mash it off, and they were like, oh, no, you can't actually do anything there.
Yeah.
It's so stupid. I think I don't get it.
It's very stupid. The next thing, dude, I think is the biggest sin. So if you'd like to start.
Yeah, I think the inventory, that's one of the big points of contention in this game, from what I've seen online as well, is just the limited inventory space. I ran into it like 3 or 4 times over the course of the game. I found it really lame that every time, like, it's kind of like Resident Evil, where you find the little upgrade bags that give you more inventory slots, but it only gives you 1 every time you find one.
For me, my inventory was full 20 minutes into the game, and it was a constant irritation all the way to the end of the game. In my opinion, like, item management in this game is like game-wreckingly bad, or immersion breaking bad. Like, you're constantly trekking back to save points to quote unquote sell items, and it completely like blows up the flow and the urgency of the game. And allow me to expand upon this a little. Like, in my opinion, if the game did any of the following things I'm about to mention, the game would be more enjoyable, and I'm going to rip through them. So this game has an issue where you cannot use items on the ground without picking them up, which is a huge mistake. Like, you got to be able to use healing items or repair kits on the go. So many other games do that. I think if this game started you with 10 slots and not 8, the game would flow a little better. I think if the game allowed any kind of item storage at save points, it would be better. Or maybe if treasures that their only function is selling, maybe they shouldn't take up inventory slots. Like, think if Resident Evil 4 treasure took up slots, you would lose your fucking mind, dude. This game is so chunked up, in my opinion. Not that the inventory system makes the game more difficult. You're constantly selling stuff and constantly backtracking, which to me was just heinous.
Yeah, it's not that it's difficult. It's just that it's tedious, you know?
Yeah.
And since I didn't really find, like I mentioned, I didn't find the sanity heals useful, I was like, oh, I'll just sell those. So I was constantly going back to the shrine and selling those. The shrines, for the audience's sake, are like the bonfires or the typewriters or save points, you know? And I was liberally using healing items. And I know this is a survival horror game, but I didn't think that the inventory limit was like a worthwhile inclusion. Like, just considering like the only things that fill it up are the healing items, the repair kits, I think they call them toolkits, and offerings to sell to the shrine. The charms, which we'll get into, the Oromori, they are unlimited. Your inventory space for those, and weapons are on a separate 3-item limit. So it just, I don't know. I didn't think they handled it well.
No, I don't think so either. I think on top of it being infuriating, it's also not consistent, right? Where you can have as many charms as you want, and you can, however many you can equip is upgradable. You can have 3 weapons, and you have a magic inventory where you store them, but they made healing items and usable items annoying. I don't understand that. Did not like it at all. Let's get on to some mechanics, and you can start.
Yeah, I do like that there is a sensible lore reason for everything working the way it does. Like, in her journal, she'll mention this. You'll find documentation that tells you, oh, it's rumored that someone even fixed like a broken bone by praying at one of the save shrines or whatever. So it's giving you that, like, in universe, this is why it.
I'll give you a small interjection. Like, I don't know if the game is bugged or some people online are experiencing this. On story difficulty, which is considered normal, your sanity and health are supposed to heal at shrines. My health never healed. I don't know if that's a bug, but I'm not sure. Other people have experienced this. Yeah.
I can't remember offhand, but yeah, that would be pretty counterintuitive. I think I do enjoy when I first started playing it, I enjoyed the Oromori charm system as well. You know, it stands to reason that if Silent Hill is coming out of your nightmares, like all the terrible creatures and horrible situations, then like protective magic should work the same way, like based on like your positive mental state or your faith or something like that. I'm like never opposed to like a ring or badge or amulet system as long as like the buffs are meaningful. I think these are like somewhere in the middle of stuff that I've seen. Like Dark Souls rings are like the peak, and then like you have like control mods, which are like the pits. It's just like, so these were like, I thought these were moderately useful.
Sure. And like, I would say the amount of slots for charms is so minimal. You start with 1 and can only have a max of 3. To me, they come across as a bit of an afterthought, and I absolutely despise the currency system too. Like, it's a horror game and you can buy charms and shit. Like, is this a gacha game? Like, I hated this. Like, you can contribute the game's like financial resource to roll for a random charm. What are we doing, man? Like, I don't understand. I thought it's a horror game, dude. I don't know.
Because, yeah, I will say that you can eventually spend that on more charm slots, which I prioritized. You just need to find like one of these those little placards, the EMA. And you can spend it at the shrine. So that's what I did, like at the expense of like health and stamina upgrades, just because like the perks were like reasonably good. But I'm with you. I don't really understand, like, faith being a numeric currency is really funny to me. and I didn't feel like Hinako's faith was a part of the story at all, unless I'm missing something. Like it just didn't factor into the themes.
Yeah, they don't really mention it. They mention that everyone else is very religious, right, in the town, and that's mentioned a lot. Yeah. I guess last thought on this, like I just think it felt very gamey. Maybe that's why I disliked it. Like, why can't upgrades to health and stamina and inventory just be found in the world? Like, why am I selling stuff? Like, Resident Evil 7 did that too, where you can upgrade your max health and stamina and stuff just by finding like little syringes out in the world. Yeah. Like, I don't understand the economy. Like, can you speak briefly on the upgrade system as a whole? I just think it was tacky and it distracted me from the game.
I empirically like numbers going up, but I don't know. I kind of agree with you that it felt like elements of it felt like an afterthought. Like the faith thing didn't make sense to me. Just the whole thing was just sort of, oh, here's a little sub game that you can be playing. And I like I said, I'm not opposed to that. We haven't seen it in Silent Hill before, but it just the execution was iffy. I do want to mention, like, I liked the journal a lot. I mentioned it briefly earlier, just specifically because of how insightful all the writing and flavor text is. Like, if it was just very perfunctory or irrelevant information, like, it would just be worthless. But I liked hearing, like, Hinako's, like, internal perspective on everything. I thought it was helpful.
I also like this because Hinako gives her opinion on every subject. However, like I disliked like how often I was running around corners of rooms hoping to pick up pages. Did you run into this? Where like I'm trying to get into the atmosphere, but I'm constantly looking at the fucking ground or at desks because I want to. Some of the journal entries are so like puzzle helpful and so necessary. I guess on the same subject, like what did you think of the puzzle solving? I thought it was a mixed bag. Like, it's occasionally nonsensical or really obtuse, and I think consistently poorly localized. Like, the puzzle box and the mural in particular. I'm going to just continue briefly. This really early on in the game, you get a direction that says, find the right Emma or find the Ema. Like, is Emma a person? Is it an object? Like, can I get an explainer? Like, there's a lot of this, like, specific cultural Japanese that I had to Google to play the game. Did you encounter this stuff?
I pretty much just... a lot of this stuff that I agree with, I just sort of brute forced. Like, when they tell you find the right Ema, I'm like... Because I know you can flip around those little... I don't know what even you would call them. Like, the little dangling pieces of wood that have pictures on them. Like that's allegedly what it is. And there was just like a ton of them. So I'm like, I'm assuming I have to find the right one of these, but I'm not 100% positive. And then they become like part of the upgrade system as you go on. But the puzzle solving as a whole, I thought, I agree. It was a mixed bag where some of them felt really cool and intuitive, and other stuff like the puzzle box in particular, like I understood the clues, but like the pictures on the box like didn't make sense to me. You know what I mean? Like I can't tell what it's counting as a flower and what it's not. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Or what's
dude, me too, man. Like dude, the Sakura part of that, it took me 2 hours. Like I didn't understand. I'm like, what are they considering a flower? What are they considering a tree? Like I don't understand. I don't know. And it's just there's some better stuff. Like I thought there was something in the school where you had to kind of dissect the code of how students were writing things with numbers and clues. More interesting. The mural of the foxes and the puzzle box I thought were brutal, dude. Like
completely brute forced.
Oh, absolutely. Like, and it's a localization problem. Just not understanding like those aspects of culture and what I'm actually trying to find. But I think you want to move on to some visual stuff, art direction stuff.
Yeah, for sure. So I guess like hand in hand with the journal is just the menu design overall. I like how like sort of just classic survival horror it feels compared to recent stuff.
Yep, notebooks. Here we go.
It just looks so much more visually interesting than like a black and white menu to me. For character design, I think like the Navy school uniform is very iconic. Like Hinako's a very recognizable like silhouette. I like how the character Fox Mask, like his robes trailing off behind him make it look like he has a tail. and that like the fog monster that you wind up struggling with is wearing this Japanese wedding dress. It's all like just very like considered visual character design. Like I think everybody stands out pretty well. I think the cutscene direction and the motion capture is phenomenal. Up there with the best of them. I think visually the monster design is also like hit or miss. Like I like the story significance of some of them, like the puppets. The scarecrows are great, but I think there's too much like Last of Us like overgrowth stuff going on, like especially with the big tank enemy and the one that like hops around really fast and licks you. Like those just felt like a different game, like Demon Souls or something like that. It was just weird.
Yeah, I got you. So I think the enemy designs are very like, look, we're symbolizing her trauma. Like, cool. You know, I've seen that before in these games, but I think they wear out the welcome quickly. And some of the big enemies are so spongy that it kind of wears down the experience. We're going to talk about the scarecrow section later on, but I thought it was a cool setup, but I did think they blew that segment.
Yeah, I agree with you because I think it's maybe the result of the era that we're in, because in Silent Hill 2, the creatures are also symbolizing James's internal struggles, but it's more vague because I like the visuals were not quite as polished as they are now. It's just like a lot clearer what everything is representing in this game, and I don't think it's bad. Like I think like the first time that I saw one of the giant boob monsters, I'm like, okay, I get it. Like this is a fear of motherhood. It's like it spawns like new enemies and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciated what they were doing thematically, but you've wind up fighting like 8 or 9 of them, like towards the end especially. And also Resident Evil 6 did it first with the boob monsters.
Yep.
Never forget. I think a lot of these ones, they just kind of existed for me. I think they needed more of them needed like a set piece style introduction, like when the Lakers first come out in Resident Evil 2. Like just make me pay attention to them, you know?
Yeah, I get it. I just think I'm a little bit 50-50 on this because I think what happens is that most of the monsters are just not scary. They're just kind of pink and bright, and you fight them in broad daylight, and I'm already irritated because I don't like playing it. So it kind of, when you put it all together, I just was not interested in the monster design as much as maybe the symbolism is accurate to what they're trying to represent. I didn't think it was very engaging personally. Yeah, we're going to get on to sound design and voice acting and music. And oh God, like some of this segment is going to be very negative and some of this is going to be very specifically positive. So Riley, why don't you start?
I want to start out by complimenting they got Akira Yamaoka back from the original 4 games, maybe some of the other ones too. My favorite elements are that like that, you know, that weird string instrument that always sounds like out of tune, like it's really really unsettling. And whenever they start doing that, like those like Yoko Ono voices, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
like that. That kind of thing.
Yeah,
it's really creepy. It's a different take, and I think it was very inspired that he was the director and he put so many spins on it, you know?
Well, yeah, I think a large thing that we're going to get at over the course of the episode, this game is just very much a missed opportunity where I think in some aspects they really nailed Japanese cultural aspects of the game, you know, traditional instrumentation and the setting and what people are wearing, etc. But I do think Akira Yamaoka is one of the very few bright spots in the entire oral experience. And you have a little bit more here?
Yeah, I also thought the sound effects, like the mix was terrific. Like I was startled numerous times by enemy popping out at me, making some weird, like disgusting clacking sound. Like it's just like there's a lot of, you know, as the title suggests, silence, you know, and then it's interrupted by like, holy shit. The Japanese voice acting sounded good to me, but I don't know how much I can evaluate that, not speaking the language. It sounded very natural, at least compared to what you showed me of the English version, which is like just god awful.
So I have a long speech here about this. Like the English voiceover is unacceptable. Like it's unacceptably terrible. Like Silent Hill is played by mostly an English speaking audience. And, I get that they're going all in on Japanese culture horror, but the localization is fucking awful. Like, also, some of the English text localization is fucking terrible, too. Like, I remember some key scenes at the end of the game where Hinako's translation on the screen is literally, "I feel bad." And like, dude, I feel bad, too, because this game fucking stinks. Like, dude, it's so weird. It's like there's no way the Japanese was, "I feel bad." Come on, man.
That was like a angry video game nerd thing. That was like,
Seriously,
I feel
dude.
bad too.
Dude, like, dude, you're in the final 10 minutes of the game, which we'll get to, and she's like, "I feel bad." I'm like, yeah, me fucking too, dude.
Yeah.
Like, come on. And also, like, dude, can we all keep in mind that there has not been a Silent Hill original game in 12 years? Like, you can't let something as critical as English voiceover be this bad. Like, Sekiro's was good. Like, I played Sekiro in English and it was just fine. Like, what are they doing, dude? I don't know how you could let this happen.
It was fine in that game. It sounds a lot like the movie theater that I work. We just showed that like Demon Slayer. Have you heard about this?
Yeah.
This anime.
Yeah.
And it's like the English voiceover for that. It's just like it's so like overwrought, and it's just like human beings don't speak like this. You understand that, correct? Especially for something as like sobering and upsetting as Silent Hill, you know?
I know, and I just want to make sure the audience knows, I think their biggest sin here is, it's like this game is how do I put this? It is not a sin that the game is intended to be played in Japanese language. That's cool with me. Sekiro is the same way. I think what the biggest sin is like the English text is awful. Like, not only does it really like blow you up at some puzzle solving moments, some of the emotional moments in the game come across as really stupid. And we're going to get to some of that during the story. So we're going to talk about the story next, and I'm rolling my eyes here. So we should note that the story was written by acclaimed visual novelist. Is it Ryukishi07? Konami used this as a selling point, and all I'm going to say is LOL, because I don't think this went well for him or them. But Riley, could you start?
Yeah, I mean, I think the character and story setup begins well enough. You know, Hinako has a shitty home life that reminded me very directly of somebody I know in real life, which made it resonate very strongly with me. You also get a nice gradual introduction of her friends who form the main cast, and I think their personalities differentiate themselves pretty well from the start.
Something that weirded me out from the start, and not in a good way, is that things seem very off very fast. It doesn't seem like an idyllic day to go chill with your boys at a convenience store. Like, the town feels very deserted. It's very eerie. The characters also don't comment on it. Like, I get pulled out of like an atmosphere like that really quick. Like, and also one of your friends, Sakako, calls you a traitor, and you're unsure as a player whether it was real or not, or if it actually happened. But Hinako also does not ask about it when they're hanging out directly after. And also, isn't it odd that you don't meet any of your neighbors? Like, I think this game has a Resident Evil Village problem where things go to hell way too quick. You don't get a feel for what the village is actually like, other than it's spooky and like something's happening. Like, I don't know. I personally did not like this intro, unless you think I'm wrong.
No, I think that's a valid perspective. I think like they were just kind of getting down to Silent Hill business. Like when you play 1 or 2, I don't remember the rest. Like when you first show up, it's already like fucked. And there's not a lot of people around. And I think they were, I mean, it was not an idyllic day. She was just trying to get out of the house because her situation sucks. I don't really know why the other kids were hanging around. But it makes empiric sense that, like, okay, in the beginning at least, that it's going to start out, the focus is going to be this friend group. And you're kind of just honing in on that. But yeah, they're hanging out outside their general store. And the town is it's already foggy, and then it becomes rapidly covered in these like red flowers, which have figured very prominently into the advertising. It's all over like the box and stuff. And then Sakako gets like what I would call ultra chicken pox. Like, that's what it looks like to me.
Yeah.
And she dies. And like, this was a very shocking, like, oh, what the fuck moment for me. But I was like moved by the characters' reactions to it once they like come to terms with it. It was just like, it's really sudden. I really did like also when you're on the run in this opening part and you're trapped in a house with monsters. And there are actually 2 keys for 2 different doors to get out. And so I tried the wrong key and it's like, this key doesn't fit. I was like, oh, fuck my life.
Yeah, I also thought that was a good segment. I wish we got more of them, but that got me too. Soon after this escape sequence, Hinako is transported to the Dark Shrine, which is the other world in this game. This generally happens whenever she falls asleep or is otherwise unconscious.
Yeah, this might be my favorite depiction of the other world in these games, and I gradually started to enjoy it more than the town, I would say.
Yeah, so it grew on me too, definitely. And I'll joke, is that because your weapons don't break when you're in there, so you can actually maybe play the game? These segments grew on me. They don't surpass Silent Hill 2 for me, but I think they're unique, and I think they did a good job of immersing you in this cultural, religious, like, thing or atmosphere they're trying to make you learn about. So I thought that was effective.
Yeah, I thought it was all just introduced very well. It was very eerie. And early on in these segments, you're introduced to the Fox Mask character I mentioned earlier. He's just constantly wearing this fox mask. You don't see his face. Throughout the game, he gradually leads Hinako through these trials or these rites of passage. And honestly, my first thought when seeing him was how people are probably already hard at work creating like hentai pornography of him.
That was not my first thought. Yeah, dude, I kept like humming to myself like the "what does the fox say" thing. Like,
sure.
That shit, that meme. We should mention that there's this weird doll that says "Don't trust the fox mask."
Yes.
And that doll in text occurs several times. This first Dark Shrine part was very scary, and you have that crawling enemy who can hear you and not see you as you're trying to solve the Emma puzzle or the Ema puzzle. Eventually, you solve it, and you move on to the next real-world segment. I think there was a localization fumble here. This is what I was talking about with the Find the Right Emma or Find the Right Ema. I had to Google this because I didn't understand what it was. But back in real life, I guess, quote unquote, Hinako and Shu lose track of Rinko, another one of their friends, and they start making their way to Rinko's house. When you're traveling through the rice fields, you have to solve a puzzle involving scarecrows. I thought this was a really good setup, but I do think they fumbled this. You need to solve it multiple times, so I rolled my eyes. It was unclear to me how to get it right. There's a note that says there's a scarecrow that isn't actually scary. But what does that mean? Does that mean there's no blood? Is there no weird smile? Like, to me, it was unclear. I don't know. Maybe I was bad at this. I don't understand.
I thought this segment was really distressing. Like one of the most distressing experiences I've had in a game, because I thought the puzzle itself was more intuitive than most of the others. I will say, like, my struggle point here was that when you get pointed in the right direction, like, you can follow like the way their hand is pointing and you'll still like get reset. And what you need to do is follow like the direction the wind is blowing by like you'll just see like gusts and leaves in the right direction. And I just like, in terms of like my engagement, I had to pause it a couple of times just to chill out, because essentially like you have these scarecrows posed in the field and there's just fog everywhere. And even before you interact with any of them, if you turn around, you'll hear their footsteps like creeping up on you in the mud.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It's so scary. But just like an early highlight, because they become few and far between moving forward.
Yeah. I understand. I agree with that. So moving on, when you catch up with Rinko at her house, after there's a conversation, she pushes Hinako down the stairs because she has romantic interest in Shu and is jealous of his friendship with Hinako. This was odd.
Yeah, I I thought this was a really cool character moment, but it ultimately goes nowhere. Hinako is good friends with Shu. Like, they call each other partner, like, since childhood. And it's one of those things where they can't really tell, is it, now that they have reached this age, are they more than friends? And there's just kind of this unspoken thing. It seems to be mostly friendly, but Rinko, their other friend, is jealous because she has feelings for Shu. And so she pushes her down the stairs, and it leads to an Otherworld segment. And you wake up and like nothing happens. It's just like nothing really comes of it.
Yeah. I thought this was another one of those not sure if this is real segments. Like Sakuko calls you a traitor. That's never resolved. Was Rinko being possessed by something? That's never resolved. You think like Hinako would bring it up, right? But she does. It's really weird. I don't like
mention it to Shu at all. It's just like really
I know.
Taking one
also,
for the
like,
team.
Wouldn't he hear it? He's right there.
Well,
like, I don't know, man.
Afterwards, Rinko is like, "Oh, you're so clumsy," but
bad localization, dude. Not effective. Thumbs down.
But I understand why. If you're Hinako, why would you say, "What the fuck is wrong with you? Why did you push me down the stairs?"
Yeah, that was crazy. I don't know, man. It was not well directed. So next, they decide to leave the town by way of a passage in the mountains near their old middle school. The school segment contains the dreaded puzzle box, which we've talked about, and that took me hours. I did not like this. We talked about the sakura flowers and all that shit. We'll move on. I thought the secret coded locker stuff was more interesting. I mentioned that earlier.
I think it fits with the themes as well, because there is this conspiratorial thing about like this friend group and having like, it's basically like Fleetwood Mac rumors kind of situation with this intrigue going on. And there's a lot of like, you wouldn't believe what so-and-so put for their locker combination. And I agree, that one was one of the better ones.
Yeah, and also I felt like what they did there was, you said it, they kind of doubled down on what's kind of going on, where there's some ruptures in the friend group. People are maybe pretending to be nice to each other, and these secret notes going back and forth. I thought it was more effective. After exploring the school for a key to the mountain gate, Hinako Shu and Rinko encourage her to take a break.
Just take a nap.
Yeah, like let's just take a nap, and there's a bunch of fucking monsters and shit everywhere. That's a good fucking idea. But anyway, she falls asleep and reawakens in the dark shrine. In this chapter, Fox Mask makes her sacrifice her 3 friends. And do you have thoughts on this?
Yeah, I thought these were some of the most the best directed moments in the game, especially the scene where she leaves Sakuko chained up by herself in the dark, like it's the end of Saw. Like, besides the fact that we are playing a Silent Hill game, like this is the first major indication that Hinako is experiencing some kind of psychological distress. Like, okay, like she's kind of like a good guy until this moment, Right. Like, I also thought leaving her in the dark was maybe the best setup here. But I thought we'd get more, I don't know, I thought we'd get more setup as to why we're leaving her alone in the dark. Aren't all the notes about Sakuko is that she has autism? Like, why are they using darkness as a theme? Are we just like, if you have autism, you're going in the dark, buddy? Like, I don't get it. Lights out.
I don't understand. Yeah, lights out, baby. But like at this point in the main story, Hinako wakes up to find she's back in the school, wakes up to find Shu and Rinko missing, and she returns to Shu's house to wait for them. And in my opinion, the game goes way off the rails here story-wise and never recovers. There's a lot of unresolved behavior from Sakuko, Rinko, and Shu, and then they just disappear from the plot. Another note, the plot also disappears, and they just stop talking about it. Like, weren't we trying to escape the town because, like, a bridge was out and we were trying to circumvent the bridge on the mountains? And are we just not doing that now? Like, I don't understand. Like, why is Hinako a traitor? They don't say it. They don't talk about it. Why is Sakuko afraid of the dark? They don't tell you. Like, why did Rinko push me down the stairs? Like, I don't know. And then, like, she doesn't talk about it. It's really weird. I do think at this point the story is being bungled. Do you have any thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think just an off-the-cuff thought, something that I did, and I kind of go back and forth on like how effective I find this. I had a thought while playing this. I'm like, man, this feels like a Silent Hill game because everyone is talking like they have a concussion. You know, like that's
Mm-hmm.
that's basically like, oh, how long have you been here? Like in all the games, it's like they have like a brain fog too, you know. And I think that there are moments where I find that successful, and I just don't think when you're moving the story along, that's the place for them. Because it's kind of like the story moments in these games are moments of clarity. And I don't understand, like Sakuko. Okay, it makes sense that you would see her in the other world. You have to fight her as a boss at one point, and because she died already. And I don't know. Yeah, I don't really know what the connection is. She had too many Tylenol, if you ask our director of health here. But those red capsules.
Oh my God,
it's not good for anybody.
That's funny. She had too many red capsules, and now she has autism.
just asking questions here. But I don't understand. Like, so Rinko and Shu leave her to take a nap in the school. And she's fine with that, evidently. And when she wakes up, they're gone, and you don't ever see them again in the real world, at least. And I just think it's just an abandoned plot line. It's like it pays off like psychologically later, but not like, I just don't think it doesn't make sense, like story wise. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think it was a good idea. The story like hits its peak with the ritual chapter. I think it's like maybe when I was playing it, I was like, well, this is one of my favorite experiences in any game. Like at that moment, I thought we might be dealing with an Alzheimer's story. Like it's so disturbing and so well directed that it made me feel like for that brief, beautiful moment that these people knew exactly what they were doing. Like, okay, like it's going, there's some weird choices in this story, but you have this very engrossing moment in the other world that makes it seem like, are things going to start to make sense now? Let's see.
I mean, I also agree. It's the most engaging. Also, some body horror here that's pretty woof. Like, you know, in this ritual segment, you cut your own arm off. Like, I've been calling this the Sekiro Bloodborne segment. Like, you have a wolf arm that you fight with, and it kind of rips, but also, I also thought, what the fuck is happening?
I think because in that moment, I gathered like what they were trying to achieve symbolically. Like there's sort of this, you're beginning to get the impression that this is like a marriage, like her in the fox mask. Like you go down that,
yes,
it's one of the best scenes where you go down that hallway of all these other like fox people who are all making little comments about the two of you, and it feels like you're at a wedding. And when you're at this ceremony, like it's not so much the horror itself, it's that like they bring out the wolf arm that they're going to, or fox arm that they're going to graft onto you, and they also bring out like a little box for your arm. And I like just like this suggestion, it's like this is just like routine to these people. Like this, yes, we'll bring out the arm catching box, and we'll give you a little saw, and just you know, have fun with it, you know. And it's just like such a conceptually disturbing thing to me. It was just really like that, and like cutting your face off. Oh my God.
I thought when we hit this part, oh, this game's gonna get good. We're gonna get off the runway here, but unfortunately, oopsie. You want to continue on back on the story track?
Yeah, I think this is, you know, we hit the peak, and now it's all downhill from here. This is followed by the scene where Hinako answers the door to the fog monster. Like, I'm pretty sure this for me is where the wheels like officially started to come off. So when she wakes up, she goes home and finds that it's like her house is like a dungeon now. It's like a completely different layout.
Yeah. So I think what's going on here, like you answer the door. Was it in Shu's house? Because you think it's Shu, but it's the fog monster who just like whacks you.
Yes.
But then, you know, you go back to your house, and it's now a very Silent Hill-y puzzle segment. But I'll note here: are we just not escaping anymore? Like, why did we abandon the plot? Like, I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like because she's trying to find her friends, but like I don't know why she goes, oh, because of Junko. Is that why? Her sister? She believes she shows up at this point in the story.
Dude, like before we talk about the actual house segment, I want to talk about this too. It's really weird to me that like Junko shows up and she clearly looks zombified or fucked up, and does Hinako comment on it? No. Like, does Hinako comment, oh, what are you doing home? Haven't you been married for years? No. Like, she doesn't comment on it, and it feels weird. And I just think it's one of these things where you had brought it up.
No, I was going to say, she does say, like, you seem different, but that's about where it starts and ends. And it's just like, she is wearing, like, her own mask because I believe the implication is that she got married. But like the rest of her flesh looks like necrotic, like she looks like a zombie. It's like, all right, it's probably nothing. It's probably just age. How you been?
It's just you gotta comment on it. Like, it's really weird. Can you talk about the section itself a little, and I'll add?
Yeah, I mean, I thought this section was cool. I thought it resonated with me because like I've had like dreams where familiar locations are changed or they're a lot bigger than they are in real life. And I think it works in the moment as well because like, you know, it's could be a representation of, okay, Hinako got married. She's been away from home for a couple of years and she goes back and it feels unfamiliar, or like her family changed it, made renovations or something. I think it's a cool idea on paper.
Yeah, and I actually thought this is, I guess I'm in the minority here. I actually thought this was one of the best sections. You know, your survival horror puzzles, your locked doors, you're figuring stuff out. And I don't know, I actually like this section, but you have some comments on the boss fight?
Yes, defeat your parents. I thought that was really funny.
Yeah.
Unlike Prince of Persia, I hated the dad becoming like the standard tank enemy in this game, like during his boss fight. Like, I saw a compelling argument that Hinako sees him this way because, like, she, in her notes about this enemy, she sees all, like, older, like, boorish men, like, the same way. But, like, you know, her mother gets her own enemy model that's unique. Like, sure, but it's unfortunately still not a fun experience for me.
Dude, as soon as I walked into the battle, I called them Smog Daddy and Ornstein Mommy. Like, did that not jump out to you? Because that's exactly what it looked like to me.
Oh yeah, that makes sense because she's really fast and he's like lumbering. Yeah, it's an interesting.
It's Ornstein and Smog, right? The 2v1.
I think just the whole last 2 hours just felt like wringing out the washcloth, like for every last drop they could. You know, she goes home, she watches her parents die, she leaves home. Goes through town, passes out, comes home, watches her parents die again. Like, Jesus Christ, like, just acknowledge you have nothing left to show us. Like, it's over. I don't want to go back and forth between two locations over and over, you know?
Yeah, no, I understand. So I did not understand this. Like, so there's a real life Hinako and there's a Hinako that's turning into the fog monster. That's what they're implying. Like, that's what the fox mask was turning you into. It just gave me bad memories of like fucking Warrior Within or something. Like, so at the end of this, like, you kill you and then you play as your demon form in the real life town. Like, dude, this is a crock of shit, right? Like, I didn't buy this at all. And then after that, you control the quote unquote real Hinako in the other world and you fight the final boss. Like, we already talked about this too. There's some weirdness with Junko. Like, it's cool that she appeared in your house. Your character speaks fondly of her in her journal, but she shows up looking really weird and Hinako just doesn't ask any questions. And I'm going to add on some more weirdness here. Okay, this part made me laugh. And I think I officially was like, I just need to finish this and be done. This is like the last 10 minutes of the game. Junko orders the fox monster or the wedding monster Hinako to kill the real life Hinako. But in the final Otherworld cinematic, Junko comments on your pill addiction, like to red capsules. Like, she just ordered Hinako's death 5 minutes before this. Like, why does she care that she's a drug addict? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, it's so stupid. Like, you just ordered your sister to die, and then because she doesn't die, you're like, get off the pills. I'm like, come on. And then this is where the iconic I feel... Like, this is the iconic "I feel bad" line comes in. It's like,
bad.
I take them because I don't want to, I feel bad. I'm like, I fucking feel bad too playing 12 hours of this shit. Like, come on. I don't know.
I think it's
I don't know,
just
man.
like, it's too complicated. Like, there was a clear role for someone to be misleading, and then it turns out, you know, you discover the truth about them, either Foxmask or Junko. It could be that maybe I don't trust either of them. Maybe that neither of them have my best interest at heart. But all this, the motivations of the characters or what they represent was confusing to me. And I, you know, for our faults, I'd consider us both like fairly thoughtful people, you know. Like, I don't think we're stupid. Like, I just think they didn't do a good job telling the story.
I think they did a bad job.
No, yeah, I want to get into the endings here. I'm sure this is the case with much of the series, but like the later endings seem really hard to figure out on your own. Like, you know what I mean? Like blessing the sword and shit. Like the UFO ending too. You have to look at 3 movie posters in a specific order, otherwise it doesn't trigger. Like, who figured that out?
Dude, we're going to get more into the endings in a second, but I need to interrupt you and tell you, I think this game, it committed a cardinal sin, dude. On your first playthrough, you can only get one bad ending where Hinako essentially has a psychotic break later in her life and kills people. You have to play the game multiple times to get the true ending. Like, I'm all set. In my opinion, it is not acceptable that the best ending requires multiple playthroughs. You can't do the 999 Nier Automata thing. In my opinion, you only have one shot in a horror game to involve me in the emotions. After you've already played the game once, the game is over. Like, you can't involve me twice. You only get one shot, and I just don't think it's an acceptable story vessel to make the player play it multiple times in like a almost like an alternative universe kind of setting.
No, yeah, I agree with you. I don't think it fit at all. Like there's few games that can really handle the Groundhog Day thing well. Like Majora's Mask, I'd consider to be one of them. But this is just, I don't know. Can you just like tell a story and then roll the credits and then it's like, oh, that's great. Maybe I'll play it again someday. You know, like, yeah, just the first time you play the game, you can only get this ending where the way I describe it to people is like, it's not really an ending. It just like cuts to black in the middle of a scene where you think you've killed the fog monster and then you're running away and then you run into it again and then it goes to credits, right? Like that's how it officially ends. And then the mid-credits scene reveals what I feel is like a major issue with the story, where there are hints about like what's actually going on throughout. Reality never actually materializes within the game story itself. Like imagine like the Silent Hill 2 twist being revealed in a mid-credits scene. And then it begs you to play it again so you can fully understand it. Like it's unthinkable. Like no one would enjoy that game. You know what I mean? By the way, this guy, he smothered his wife. And this is sort of like another issue that I have is that the other endings require you to get off the pills. Get off the pills! It's a crush!
The Neil Breen shit?
Yeah.
Dude.
But like I know that's like a story element, but what is the indication that that's going to affect the gameplay? Like that's crazy.
Yeah, so I do need to comment on this. I'm going to put a question in here. Like, isn't Shu a virtuous character? Like, if the red capsules are causing bad hallucinations, which is the implication, shouldn't it be a main plot point? Like, why is it hidden behind alternative endings and flavor text? If you ask me, like, if you want to imply throughout the game that taking the red pills is bad and a volcanic eruption is causing the fog, you should go there. Or like you should have a choice within the game to not take the capsules and not trust Foxmask. Oh, that's another fucking part of this. Throughout the whole game, they tell you should not trust Foxmask, but you have to do what he tells you. And so it's really, really weird. I understand like the game wants, they're really bearing down on Hinako wants to make her own choices in her life, but they don't let you. It's really weird. And go on, dude, to ending 2 and the other shit. I don't like it.
No. And I think like there's maybe some metatextual opportunities there. It's like she can't make choices and neither can you, but that don't, like, I think that's at odds with like the other endings that you wind up like, why does playing the game again like make her allowed to make choices? You know, it doesn't make sense to me. So you have the opportunity to ending 2, which I believe is considered like a very bad one, where you fight Shu at the end in like demonic form. Like he looks like a Sekiro boss. Fox Mask tells Shu that Hinako belongs to him now, Fox Mask, but they can all still be friends. And as Hinako and Fox Mask walk back into their house, you hear Hinako freaking out and realize that her voice is coming from her face that's like coming out of the doorstep, and then somebody steps on her. Like, I thought it was very like, oh my God, like the visuals were very compelling, but I think that this should have been possible in the first playthrough. You know, if that's the bad ending, like she becomes a doorstep for other people. Ending 3 is also achievable on the second run through, where Hinako defeats Fox Mask in his true form and escapes with Shu. And a radio broadcast says that Ebisugaoka has been evacuated because of gas from volcanic activity. The volcanic activity, I think, for a source of the fog, is an interesting twist on the formula, but it feels just like completely incidental to the broader story. Like, I think I'm waiting for somebody like similar to the real life. You know about this? The real life story where they based like the film, the visuals of the Silent Hill film on this. There's a town in Pennsylvania where the fog is toxic gas, and in the 1950s or something, 1950s, 1960s, they could have fixed it for like $50, but they chose not to. And now like the entire town, like the whole county is like uninhabitable. Like that's like an interesting, like, okay, make it like lore that like human error caused this or something. You know, it's just, I don't give a shit that the volcano is causing it. What does it have to do with anything?
Right. And what I also said it earlier, like if the volcanic activity is so vital, why is it not in the fucking game? Like, why did we have to go to Hinako's house 40 fucking times? I don't understand.
Didn't have the money to make a volcano. But this one, I think, also supports the theory that most of what's happening is an illusion or a psychotic break. Like where she is currently in her 20s and like flashing back to when she was a kid. Because they have she and Shu have dialogue as they're leaving the town, where she says, "Shu, you look weird in a tie," and he says, "Well, you look weird in that," and it's like clearly supposed to be her wedding dress. And the police report in the first ending also describes her as a woman in her 20s, so you know it's like a flashback.
So I just think like this like true ending, or these true endings 2 and 3, I just think it's like those endings not being available the first time is ridiculous. And like without those endings, like you get zero resolution about the town. Did anybody escape? Like what happened? There's no lesson. There's no nothing. There's no resolution to the red capsule. There's no resolution to the fog. I just think, like I said it before, but you can't hide the true ending behind a plot like this, or you can't hide all the thoughtful stuff behind multiple New Game Pluses. It's just really bizarre. But if you could go on to ending 4.
Yeah, so getting into the fourth ending, which is allegedly the true ending, where Hinako's two selves realize that they are pawns of the two deities worshipped in the town. You see these mentioned here and there throughout the first playthrough. They make peace with each other, and the curse on the town is lifted. On paper, I like the idea because each of them could represent like a different value system, like traditionalism or progressivism. Like, will she become a bride or will she not? But I just think that they could have worked it into the narrative much better. And the last ending, the UFO ending, which you have to have, is a goofy motion comic about the doubles being people who were replaced by aliens. Most of it is just the characters acting like dipshits. I don't understand why Shu and Hinako used to play this game Space Wars. They keep bringing it up. I'm like, oh, so the UFO ending is going to be that Space Wars is real, but it does not happen.
So what I was going to say is like, are we stupid? Like, are they stupid? Like, why didn't they use Space Wars if there's a UFO ending? Like, did I miss something? I don't get it.
It's such a huge, it's money on the table. It's right there. I don't get it.
I don't either.
I think ultimately, like, the heart of the story is whether she chooses marriage or freedom. You know, Hinako or Shimizu Hinako, like, will she keep her last name? What sense does it make to hide that behind a second playthrough?
I don't think it makes any sense. And the game is so linear with really no choices. Like, I'm not sure how they were expecting you to lean into one or the other. Like, I do think they bungled this. You can't do anything to go against Fox Mask in playthrough 1, and I do think it stinks.
Yeah, it does. I realize it's not quite as avant-garde as this game is attempting, but like if I was writing this, like I would have had the ending base itself on your choices throughout the game, like Silent Hill 2. Like, for example, if you've mostly been following Fox Mask's instructions, she winds up marrying him, or if you haven't, then maybe you get to fight him at the end, or some other monster who's arranging the marriage and you break free from it. Like, we don't need to go crazy here.
No, like, I just think they tried to bite off too much, right? Like, doesn't it seem like obvious? Like, why didn't they do that? The doll is constantly saying, do not trust Fox Mask, and you can't do anything to betray his trust in the gameplay. Before we conclude, I'd like to quote one of our Discord users, Hunter, who nicely summarized the plot. And hey, if you want to join our Discord, you can. So this person summarized the plot as if it were one overarching sort of narrative, and I thought it was nicely summarized. So if the game was one thing, it's this, in theory. After growing up to an abusive father, Hinako hates everything that is pushed onto young women in this time period. Junko goes off to get married and gets killed by her abusive husband. And shortly before the start of the game, Hinako finds out her parents sold her to get married to pay off a debt. Shu, for his love of Hinako, makes things worse by giving her these pills to help her stop like focusing on her dread and like her I guess depression. Because of the red pills, she has a psychotic break. Everything that happens is her attempting to cope with her inevitable future. In my opinion, that's pretty thoughtful, but you can't lock that behind multiple playthroughs. Like, it's a horror game, dude. You only get one shot at scaring people. You only get one shot at emotions being high. Like, this isn't Hades. Like, this is not 999. This is not Nier. Like, I think this is pretty disgraceful, personally. Or if it's not disgraceful, it's a massive missed opportunity. That being said, let's go on to conclusions here.
Yeah, I think they tried a lot of cool themes, story ideas, and aesthetics, but they just lacked the direction or experience to pull it off. At the very least, like, it feels like an Earnest failure rather than like boardroom slop. Like, here's what we think the Silent Hill fans really want. Like, I think the multiple required playthroughs are the fatal flaw here.
Yeah, I do think they tried, but it is a mess. But it's also been 12 years, so now I'm like, dude, come on, you know?
It's rough. So also, what does the F stand for?
They don't explain it. It's Silent. I've been calling it Silent Hill 5. Like, I think that's been debunked, but I don't give a fuck. Like to me, there's no indication that F stands for anything. I don't care anymore. Like, 4 was the last numbered entry, and they bungled it anyway. But I don't know. What do you think?
Maybe it was the friends we made along the way.
Silent Hill Friendship?
Silent Hill Friendship. Silent Hill G, Hinako gets a gat for Christmas. That's another thing. There's no guns in this game.
Yeah.
It's all... maybe that could have shaken things up a little bit, but
yeah.
So what's next for Silent Hill, and is there any hope? Let's get into it.
So I'm happy it has an 86 Metascore and it's sold well. I'm sad that it stinks. I think there's hope because Bloober's going to hit another home run with the remake of Silent Hill 1. At least that's what I think.
I think so. I think the next thing on the horizon is Return to Silent Hill, the movie. I'm saying absolutely no shot. It looks worse than a fan film. It is releasing in January, which is a notorious film graveyard, against 28 Years Later, The Boner Temple.
Yeah, it looks terrible, and so does that movie. It looks fucking awful, dude.
So let's ignore that. Townfall, the only game left on that announcement slate from 2022. According to a recent report as of October 8th, this is coming out next year, potentially as early as March, and will feature similar gameplay to The Short Message. What are your thoughts on this?
The Short Message, I forgot I even played it. I consider it to be very fluffy. Like, I don't care. It's like whatever. I forget who's making. Is that Annapurna is making it? Is that right?
Yeah, and,
I think that's right.
No Code.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know anything about it. I hope we keep getting these games, even though they keep fucking them up. But I will say this: like, the entire Konami narrative is like kind of weirding me out. Like, example, the team that made Silent Hill F, isn't this their first game? And like, why did they make a Silent Hill game and it was the first Silent Hill game in 12 years? Like, what the fuck were they thinking? Like, I don't understand. And like, I don't know, man, Townfall, I'll believe it when I spend $60 on it and inevitably hate it. But that's how I feel.
Yeah. I think it's similar to how like Disney hires directors with less experience or clout so they can control them more easily. Like, oh, you directed an indie comedy a couple of years ago. Wouldn't you like to direct the next Avengers? You know, it's like, this would be a great opportunity for you. I think it's the same thing. It's just like they're just trying to get somebody that they can push around. But at least I guess I'll say that the creative side of it's shown through here. Like I said, it's an earnest failure. Rather than, something that they had complete control over. Mm-hmm. I think the Silent Hill 1 remake, probably, the thing I'm most looking forward to. Actively in development by Bloober as of September 30th. Like, sure. Even if, just as a means to the 3 and 4 remakes, which I'm sure they'll do if that one is successful. I think those games need it more.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I'll say two things. I think you just came up with our subtitle for this episode, an earnest failure. That seems right to me. But also, like, I'm in for Bloober to do stuff. Silent Hill 2 Remake smoke this game, so I'm all in on that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, ultimately, I'm concerned that this game, like, it seems to be dividing the subreddit, like, right in half. I'm concerned that they're going to play this and be like, well, see, this is why all you can do anymore is have games that are exactly like Silent Hill 2, but worse. You know what I mean? Like, discount Silent Hill 2.
Yeah, but like, are they wrong? Like, this game wasn't good. I don't want to like discount anyone's creativity or have anyone not take shots, but when they don't make Silent Hill 2, it sucks. So I don't know.
No, I mean, to clarify, I'd welcome more divergences from the standard formula, like you do like a different setting or something like that, as long as there is a discernible story structure and more variety in gameplay than this. Like, I think there's a version of this game that could have worked, but this wasn't it. These are my final thoughts, basically. And it bothers me, like, when they blow opportunities to shake things up, because like, I think it only fosters more resistance to it, especially as the first original game in 13 years or whatever.
Yeah, I agree. So final thoughts. I think ultimately I'm very disappointed and I'm very irritated with Silent Hill F. The combat stinks. The item management stinks. The localizations stink. The endings stink, at least to how you have to see them. There are some cool visuals and ideas here, but like, ultimately, to me, it feels very empty and unsatisfying because of they just make you do this Groundhog Day thing, but the Groundhog Day thing is very video gamey. It's not inherently laced into the story. I think there's such like a lack of resolution or development to many, if not all, of the characters. Even when the game starts to let you rip a little, the story falls apart. And unfortunately, like, we do have to grade this game. Would you like me to start?
Please do, yeah.
I'm going to go C-. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm going to go C.
C, okay.
Yeah, I think because like I said, there's a lot that I liked about it, but I don't think it's a success.
I don't either.
By any stretch.
An earnest failure, I think, is quite adequate.
Yes, sir.
So anyway, we'll catch you guys next time on Goddamn GameCube. Thank you.